I hope y'all ready for a fun one today. Thanks to channel homegirl MPG EDC, we are going to be taking a look at an American-made OTF, manufactured just a couple hours away from me right here in the Pacific Northwest. That's right. Today, we're looking at the Kershaw Livewire. And I'm going to tell you why this might just be the best value in USA Made OTFs. You're going to want to see more about this one. Stick around. What's up, Kripple Krew? EDC with DBD, disabled but deadly. And, of course, I gotta give a shout out to MPG EDC for making today's video possible, as she has sent in the first ever OTF design from Kershaw USA. Kershaw USA is now a division of Kai USA, but was originally founded in Lake Oswego, Oregon by Pete Kershaw. And he built his first knife factory in an old cement plant. The manufacturing has been moved to Tualatin, Oregon, not very far from there, just south of Portland, actually, and only a few hours away from me up here in the Pacific Northwest. And they've been making knives in that factory ever since. Kershaw was the first one to bring us assisted opening knives in 1988. Back then, knives did not have ball bearing pivots. They were not tuned very well. They were not the easiest to open with one hand, and they weren't reliably easy to open with one hand. Kershaw's assist mechanism really changed that and made it so they could make knives so easy and reliable for anybody to open one-handed, even folks with disabilities or folks who didn't have any experience with knives and wanted to be able to protect themselves or have a knife that they just knew they could operate. Now, today, with well-tuned actions and ball bearing pivots and just the tolerances and the manufacturing capabilities that we are used to now, the call for assist isn't as big as it used to be. However, assisted opening knives still make up a huge portion of Kershaw sales. This here is the Scallion, a kin onion design. And it's a just barely 4-finger, perfect little American-made, small EDC that you can, drop in any pocket, pouch, or purse. Mrs. Deadly got me this one, and this was actually one of my first USA-made knives. Of course, I only have a few, so... but we're going to move on now. So now, Kershaw is part of Kai USA, which is owned by Kai Inc., which is a Japanese knife manufacturing company that has been one of the most renowned manufacturers in knives in Japan for decades. They partnered with Pete Kershaw a long time ago, and now Kershaw USA is part of Kai USA. So, enough of that history. Before we show you the live wire, stab that like button, like you mean it, /subscribe. I love to have you here. You're not going to miss all the dope knife and EDC content coming your way. We've got that 1,500 subscriber giveaway coming up soon, so bash that bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. If you enjoy what I do here, it only costs a couple of bucks a month to join Kripple Krew Inc., where you get members-only content, members-only early access to videos, and members-only giveaways. Like I said, a couple of bucks a month really helps out the channel, but that's completely up to you. Do me one favor, drop a comment below. Let me know what's in your pockets. All right. So, with the big rise in popularity and surge in the OTF market, Kershaw wanted to bring an OTF to market, and they worked. Their in-house designers worked with Matt Diskin, a custom knife maker, and the Kershaw Livewire was born. In 2023, they launched with a spear point, a dagger grind, because there was the spear point is single edge. There's a dagger ground spear point with double edge, and the Tanto. And they just recently dropped a new reverse Tanto, is what they call it. Or, we might call it a modified sheepfoot version. Either way, there's several blade shapes, some with partial serrations to choose from. There's several colors and styles, and they really do have kind of a look for everybody now with that sheep's foot. What we're looking at for specs, overall length on this is 8.1 inches, so it's a good size knife with a 3.3 inch Tanto blade of CPM MagnaCut at 62 to 64 HRC, exactly where you want to see it to get the right balance of toughness, corrosion resistance, and great edge retention. The handle length, or the close length, is 4.8 inches, and even being over 8 inches long with a 3.3 inch blade, our weight's coming in at 3.1 ounces. It is light. I'm really, really surprised by how light and how good it feels in hand. OTFs, if you're familiar, a lot of them can be on the heavier side because of the springs and the mechanisms inside needed to make the OTF function. OTF, by the way, means out the front. I don't know if I've said that yet. This is an out the front automatic knife. We'll get into that in a moment. Blade stock thickness on this is 125 thousandths. And the Tanto, I haven't seen the sheep's foot, how high the grind is yet, but the Tanto did have the tallest flat grind of the blade shapes, because the spear point and dagger both have a much shorter grind height. Pardon me. So this would be the thinnest behind the edge, and it's a very nice Tanto profile with a little bit of a clip here, bringing the main point down a bit lower, so it's a little easier to get to. But we also have a very nice pronounced secondary point, or secondary tip right here, that would be awesome for making any type of draw or utility cuts, opening packages and such. To get it down to that 3.1 ounces, the frame is 6061 T6 aluminum, and as you can see, it is contoured and beveled and textured all around, making it much more comfortable than the usual rectangular brick you see from an OTF. Our clip is tip up as the gods intended and deep carry, and it is easily reversible. You just flip it to the other side, making this a completely ambidextrous knife, easy to carry for lefties or righties. That button doesn't care what hand is dominant. We have, in this case, a black anodized finish on the aluminum and a Cerakote finish on this really nice curve stepped trigger here. The trigger is one of the things that impresses me the most about the Livewire because it is very easy to actuate. I can easily do it either hand, and my daughter, the deadly daughter, can even easily actuate this trigger, and some OTFs really bother her thumb, really give her a hard time. I have a feeling like this is one of the best that I have felt for ladies, for anybody like me who has nerve damage or arthritis in your hands. If there's any reason you have any issues in your thumb, the Livewire is going to be one of the best for you. It's going to reliably open every time with great lockout, like very little wiggle. Most OTFs, if you're not a very expensive deadlock or the new Microtech, have some blade play, and this has very little. I'm very impressed. But even people with disabilities or weakened thumbs are going to easily be able to actuate this, giving them a knife they can reliably use, just like the Assist did back in the day. Like I said earlier about the MagnaCut, when I talked about the 62 to 64 HRC, MagnaCut is one of the best overall balanced seals out there. It's not the best in any of the three main categories of corrosion resistance, toughness, or wear resistance, also known as, edge retention. But it is the best super steel in all three categories, because typically to get high marks in one, you have to sacrifice another. Like the higher edge retention of an S110V sacrifices toughness. MagnaCut is very corrosion resistant. It is very tough, and at 62 to 64 HRC, it holds an edge for a very long time. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not slicing with this at the moment, this has been carried extensively by MPG EDC. It was a gift for her, and as you can see, her husband had her name lasered onto, or not her name, her nickname lasered onto the handle. And this is very near and dear to her, so she's carried it quite a bit, and it's been reviewed by other channels. It does need to be touched up, but I am not comfortable enough in my sharpening skills yet on Tantos. I don't want to ruin the secondary tip or anything on her MagnaCut beautiful blade, so I'm going to let somebody else sharpen this. Know your strengths. I've practiced on my own Tantos before hers. Speaking of Tantos, what this blade shape gives us is, out of all their choices, the best balance of EDC and tactical use. We've got a very strong tip with some strength right behind it for good puncturing power in a beef jerky defense or tactical scenario. You have, a very strong or long straight edge, allowing for strong cuts. But this also allows for a lot of great utility cuts. This is a great cardboard slicer because of that good long flat edge there, straight edge. That secondary tip, like I said earlier, allows you to use it for draw cuts and utilities type cuts, or you can get down to that main tip, which really allows you for some precise cutting. Great blade shape, great blade steel. This black wash finish is going to really hide wear and tear on this, keep it looking good for a long time. These handles, I don't know if that's coming through very well, but all these different angles on this truly make it comfortable in a lot of different grips. I'm comfortable back here in a hammer grip, way behind, away from that edge. I can grab this up in a saber grip. I can choke up on the blade if I needed to. If I was doing some slicing or some cuts that I wanted a more control and strength behind. It's very comfortable to get up, throw a finger on that tip, and do some draw cuts, open up some packages. If I had to turn it around and cut some straps or some rope, I could do that very comfortably. In a beef jerky Avenger grip, I am definitely locked in. I'm capped off on the butt of that, and it feels like I'm not going anywhere. And in a beef jerky Defender grip, same thing. Locked in, capped off, nowhere near the edge of that blade. Tactical and useful for EDC. Comfortable in all grips. So, I want to talk about the value. USA Made OTFs do not come cheap. USA Made OTFs with high-grade aluminum frames and MagnaCut steel definitely don't come cheap, and most of this knife's competition is in the $400 plus and up range. And if you go to Kershaw's website, retail on these is $320. However, most retailers sell this for around $240. I will link this below for $240. A link right now, $239.95. That will be an affiliate link, so it does help the channel, but that's completely up to you. And there are times when these go on sale for around $220, $225, $225. So that is very good compared to its competitors in the USA Made out the front automatic market. And now when you see one term that I want to cover real quick that I should have earlier, this is a double action out the front, meaning the trigger, there is two different spring tracks in here, and the trigger retracts the knife just like it ejects the blade or shoots the blade out. I don't want to say ejects, but just as it launches the blade, the same trigger retracts the blade. A single action OTF, you have to retract the blade manually. So this is an automatic knife that just about anybody could safely and reliably use. Your fingers are always out of the path of the blade, so it is, definitely would be considered a finger safe lock. And the double action out the front have a very good safety mechanism where if this is ejected and you are not clear of the path of the blade, it's going to knock it off track, and instead of firing the blade out. Now, would it still puncture a bit and give you a little bit of a poke, make you bleed? Sure, but it's not going to go through your hand or anything. Matter of fact, just to demonstrate what it looks like and how to put it back if that were to happen, we are going to, not while holding this, because YouTube would not like that. I'm going to set this out of the way, and I'm going to fire this into it and show you what it looks like. It did not even puncture, it didn't pierce the fabric at all. You can see it did not pierce the fabric, and all you have to do, pull it back out all the way, it locks in, you're good to go. Rock and roll. So There is a safety mechanism built into these if something like that worries you about carrying them. The nice thing is, so there are folks that worry about this going off in their pocket and launching into their leg. And I want to let you know that OTFs are much safer than you think. They are definitely safe to carry. And I would recommend them for a wide range of folks. They're great EDC, especially if you have issues with your hands. Now, one important caveat. Know your local knife laws. Know your local knife laws. Because not all jurisdictions allow you to carry OTFs legally outside of your house. Washington has some stupid OTF rules, but you can own and collect them in a lot of places, even if you can't carry them. So make sure you know your local knife laws before you, and of course, we always follow all local knife laws here at Kripple Krew Studios. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think about this and want to give MPG EDC one more shout out. Make sure you are following her on YouTube. She has some of the most fun live streams. So check her out. Give her a shout out for loaning this to the channel. Let me know, do you have a Livewire? I plan to pick one up now, and I plan to pick up the Blade HQ exclusive Ultim version. Big surprise. I want the Ultim version. Currently, it's only available in the Spear Point, so I might end up getting another one down the road. But if I were to pick one up, I'd probably get, other than the Ultim, I'd probably get the new Sheepfoot one. But let me know what you guys think. I hope everybody has a killer day, night, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are. Stay safe, stay frosty, but most importantly, stay deadly.